Right, so looking at the forks, the bits have started to arrive. So the seals are here, the O-rings and the lip seals. They look okay. The slider dust covers have arrived, as have the Doughty washers. So that's all good. I don't think there's anything else. It's an old O-ring. Much else I need. I've decided not to replace these. I mean, arguably these are a bit loose on the damper tubes, but it's not going to leak or anything. So yeah, I'm going to run with those. The other thing that's arrived, which is most important, is this: a replacement fork leg with the extra lug. So this is off a BSA single rather than the twins or the triples. I don't know quite why it's got this green thing on. It allegedly is new old stock, but hasn't been stored very well. That was made clear in the eBay advert, which is fair enough, and sure enough, it has definitely got surface corrosion on it. But I think it'll clean up okay. It's only one on the outside, and hopefully I can get that sorted out in there as well. So yeah, I'll make progress on that and take it from there. So, start reassembling this pair of fork legs. I've cleaned this up now and it looks a bit better. Certainly do for me. The studs need to go back in. I've taken these off the old leg, so they're UNC at one end and UNF at the other. I'll just clean up the studs slightly and stick them in first. So those are all cleaned up, and these holes are very clean. And this is a new old stock unit. There's nothing in the bottom of those holes at all. So let's just whip those back in with a bit of Loctite. What's this? Only up to retainer. Use retainer. I don't want these to come out, of course. Every time I take the wheel out, you don't want the studs to start coming out of the fork. So stick a bit of this on. So these copper jaws are really good. I think they're a bit stronger than aluminium, and I find them work really well. I guess they're expensive, but I just picked up a sheet of copper at one of the bike shows. I think it was Stafford show, and it was just about the right size, and so I've found them really good. Right, it's all four studs in and sealed and locked with 638 Loctite. Not that that's necessarily the right thing to use, it's just what I happen to have, and it is a bearing retainer, so it's quite high strength. So next is to put these back together, I guess. I think I use a bit of Loctite on these as well. Yeah, maybe not the same stuff. What's this one? Yeah, this is thread locking. So just a tiny bit of this Loctite 275. Up the right way with the recess on the lower side. And stick a new O-ring on. Going to put a bit of petroleum jelly on this, just to ease it over the spool, the damper valve. do. Then the top nut. So this is the one with the hexagon here, unlike the other side, which is just a plain diameter. So this one I can stick in the vise and turn it with a spanner. Click. So that is ready to go, I think. Do the same with the other one. So these are the two dirty washers. So this is quite clever. They look like nothing. The rubber bonded to the inside of the washer is actually a particular profile and has a lip round the top and lip round the bottom, which are above the surface of the steel washer. So once it's clamped between two surfaces, those two lips are compressed and you get a good seal around the thread. So I've thoroughly cleaned out the fork tubes, the stanchions, and I'll put plenty of lube on here to get the airing over the top of the threads. Hopefully, putting these back in the same forks they came out of, although it shouldn't make any difference. Trying to ease that in. There we go. So this had some kind of Loctite on it before. In fact, it had arguably too much on. There's a big sort of blob of it hardened around the top of the threads. So I'm going to put less on this time, but there we go. That'll do, I think. Bit of Loctite. I didn't realise till playing with these forks that they're the same as the ones that I had on my Triumph Trident, the T160 Trident years ago. And it seems kind of strange that a heavy bike like that should have the same forks as the B25 for that matter, or that man the B50. But it's a good idea, I suppose, for BSA to standardise them at the time. Makes getting parts for them easier as well these days. That's tight enough, I think. Right, so the seals next. Here we are. So they should just press in fairly easily. See if I've got a socket that's the right size to help with that. This 38mm socket that fits the fork top nuts. That is a bit too big actually, but it'll certainly get me going. Okay. Just start it going. Actually, this socket is actually pretty good size. That's down level with the top of the damper, or the lower leg rather. And that's fine. Before, they weren't down to the shoulder. So, yeah, don't there's any need for them to be hard against the shoulder. I'll check the manual though, perhaps before I finally decide. So I've read the manual, and it doesn't actually say anything about how far these should go in. So I'm going to leave them where they are. So that's where they were when I took it apart. So they could go down against the shoulder, but I don't think there's any point. They're firmly installed, so I'll just leave them as they are. The other thing I looked up was the correct oil, and it says automatic transmission fluid, which I was quite surprised about, to be honest. But as it happens, I've got a bottle. I might as well put these dust caps on. Now, let's put some TQF on them. Sorry, ATF is what I mean, isn't it? I'll just slip that on without damaging it. There we go. So obviously I'll bring these down onto the lower fork leg once that's installed. Okay, the other thing missing from my forks was the washer that goes underneath the cap screw that goes into the bottom of the forks. And it turns out it's very narrow, very small diameter. Looks like it needs to be 12 mil or less, measuring this. And this one is okay. Just going through my little bucket of washers. So that one is okay, 11.3, and obviously it fits the cap screw thread. But these other ones, which aren't far off, but they're too big. This is too big. So I'm just hoping I've got another one that size. Aha! That looks promising. I think that's the partner to that one. These ones are all the wrong size, but it looks like those two might actually do it. So the next challenge is going to be to get the dowsy washers onto that thread. I think I'm going to try using this long screwdriver. I'm hoping if I stick that on there without damaging the seal, I can drop it down the fork leg. Okay, so the screwdriver's on top of the screw. Yeah, the washer's on the screw now. Slightly skewed. Yeah, looking good, I think. Okay, let's try this one. See if I can get it right twice. Okay, screwdriver on the top of the screw. Yep, looking good. The trouble is this screwdriver is magnetic, as it turns out. Didn't realise it, but tends to lift the washer off if it can. Right, that's there. Whew, good. So I'll lube up this seal and try and slide these on. Make sure I get them around the right way. Okay, let's see if I can get this on. So plenty of oil for a start. This is the right one, isn't it? Yep. Oh, there we go. Oops. Get this key in. Okay, I think that is catching. Feels as if it is. So I need my special tool. So let's try this tool down the fork leg. Yeah, I can see the top of the damper tube. That's it, that's in place. Okay, so I've got the mole wrench on the top end now. See if I can tighten up this set screw at the bottom. Yeah, that is definitely tightening up. So that's good. There we go. Click. That feels about right. Good. That worked a treat. Okay, second left hand leg. Try it. There we go. Right, so those are tightened up. I've got to say, I don't know how I would have done it without this this tool. It would be really hard, virtually impossible, I thought. So yeah, I'm pleased I made this. Okay, so let's get these dust seals back on, if I can. It's easier said than done, isn't it? There we go. Phew. It's a bit harder than I was expecting. Right. Finally, we have forks back. Just put some oil in them now. So 190 ml seems to be what's in the manual. Must admit, automatic transmission fluid doesn't seem right to me, but that is what it says in the manual, so that's what I'm going to put in. Yeah, I mean, if anybody knows better, then please let me know. So 200 ml on here is there. So if I put 200 ml in for a start, I'll work back from there. Right, 200 ml, just over. My plan is to suck some of this back out again, so I'm not too worried about the exact amount, as long as it's slightly more than 190. Okay, the second one filled up. You can see it bubbling away down there. I don't know if you can actually see that, but see the bubbles coming up past the damper valve. Okay, so I've made up a cunning little gadget with a bit of thin tube, a bit of coat hanger, and a 10cc syringe. So the plan is to suck the oil out. If I suck 10 ml out of one side and establish a level with that, then I can get the next one down to the same level. And that should get both sides with the same amount of fluid in. Okay, so I've pumped each side of the forks up and down several times now. It's been stood for some time too, and there's no air left in it that I can see. They're both at the top of the stroke. If I try this side for a start, establish a level. Okay, that's just in the fluid there. So if I assume that that is going to be the level for now, I'll move this zip tie down, which is still loose. Okay, that's on the top of that yoke. Let's try and suck some out. Okay, so it's coming up. Okay, so that's drawn out. Well, 2 mil, I guess, plus what's in the tube. Let's take this down a bit further, because I do need 10 mil to come out. Okay, that's another couple of mil lower down. Well, that's 4 cc's. One more time, just lower this down a bit more. Keep these level. That's better. So that's 10 mil. So that leaves, from the 200 I put in, that leaves 190 in the fork. So that seems to be a good height. On the other side, set the other side to the same depth. There. Okay, so that second fork is now drawing air. And again, it's about 8 milliliters come out. So again, that's roughly 190 all up. So just checking visually, yeah, they look pretty much the same level. Great. I'll just put the springs back in and the caps on, and we should be done. I don't know what the spec is on these, whether there's a torque setting or not. I think I'll just do them up till they're reasonably tight. Just realised I've forgotten the speedo mount, which is interesting actually. That means the springs are going to be uneven, aren't they? This mount is, I'm not sure it's original, but So 2mm thick at least. So this spring is going to be compressed 2mm less than the other side. Oh well. I suppose I should put a washer under here the same thickness, but I don't think I will. A 38mm socket again. Right, that'll do. Right, so all back together and ready for the wheel to come back from central wheel components, and then I can reassemble the brake, which is in the box down there, and get the front wheel back on. So getting close, yeah, and hope I can get it date certified and registered. Good, thanks for watching.